Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Fridays with Vinnie. It is Friday, July 2nd. We finally made it, guys. We're halfway through the year. I haven't accomplished anything. This has been 6 months of my life wasted. So that's always fun. But hey, we got to episode 12. So, silver lining, silver lining. We may have not accomplished anything, but we got 12 episodes of a podcast recorded. So, when I commit to something, sometimes I stick with it for a while. You never know. You never know. Maybe I will still be here in another 12 episodes. But anyway, how's it going? How are you guys doing? We got 4th of July this weekend, which means some of you might get Monday off. I do, luckily. So, yeah, I'm going to enjoy that extra day, and I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm going to use that day for all it's worth, and, yeah, hopefully I can get some stuff done. Work's been a little bit better recently. We've been catching up, so I'm thinking that we won't have to work 12-hour shifts for 5 days in a row past July. And of course, end of July, I'm taking a vacation, which maybe I shouldn't say on a public podcast, because don't really want people being like, oh, Vinny's not going to be home, so I'm going to break into his house and steal all his audio equipment. And I'm like, no, I spent several thousand on that over the course of a long period, so I didn't feel it as much. But if I had to replace it all, that's a lot of moolah. So I guess all you thieves listening, don't break into my house. Instead, break into my neighbor's house. I'll just give you my neighbor's address. It's like, yeah, this is where it is. Go get yourself some audio hardware. They break in and there's just weights, and they're like, wait a minute, Vinny doesn't lift. Oh no, this is the wrong house. And then the person's home, and they're like, what the heck are you doing? And since he lifts weights, he's ripped. Yeah. Come rob my neighbor while I'm gone on vacation later this month. Speaking of upcoming events, I'm going to be doing a live stream this weekend. I think I'm going to move it from the 4th to the 3rd. It's going to be on Twitch. I haven't decided on a time yet. I know it's weird. It's a Friday podcast, and then tomorrow I'm going to do a piano stream. But it's just going to be a little hour of practicing. I'm going to maybe take requests if enough people show up and want to hear certain stuff. Otherwise, I'm just going to play some songs for an hour and get some good piano practice in. Because I haven't been able to book any more shows because nobody has any open slots right now, despite the fact that everything's back opened up. We went yesterday. We went downtown here in Rapid, where we are, because there were some friend acquaintances. I don't want to use friend too liberal, but they're people that I played with a little bit. Their band's called No Exit. They're actually really good. They were thinking of having me be their keyboardist, but that was right before COVID hit, and so it just didn't end up happening. But I had a great time when I did play with them. It was like just one practice session, and then they were having some I don't know exactly what went down, but long story short, there was like, well, we're gonna take a month off as the band, to figure some stuff out. We gotta have a couple band meetings, try to organize some stuff. Some members were moving between houses, not like moving out of city. I don't think it was just like, I'm moving this week, so we can't practice or have the band meeting then. So, but yeah, I wouldn't have mind playing with them because they do a lot of my favorite stuff. A lot of blues, a lot of rock, a lot of 70s and 60s stuff, and you guys know how I feel about that. And it would have been fun to play there, but also I'm not certain. I would have had to learn how to play organ more. And I know it's all on the same keyboard. You just change the sound. But there is something to be said about learning how to change the way you play. There's something different about piano, period, which maybe I should just get into highs and lows, because I've actually got a couple lows this week, which usually I don't do, but one of them doubles as a high. So let me just get into that. First off, the low, um, because of working long shifts, I have slacked off on showering, and because of that, my skin has gotten oily, and now my skin is breaking out in pimples. And just yesterday afternoon, I got, of all places, a pimple on my lip. And so it's like a mouth sore, but also it's just like, how do I get this dang thing to pop? I want it gone. It's annoying. It sucks. But anyway, yeah. Frickin' wash your face, guys. Wash your faces. 'Cause otherwise it not a good time. Not a good time for Vinnie. Other high slash low, low slash high. It's really a high. It's really a high. I got to play live again at the cave, but I just have mixed feelings about it, because going there it was stressful. It was stressful playing live again, because I really wanted to have a good show, and I think it really turned out good. Joe last minute wasn't able to make it, so it ended up being another solo piano show, which honestly I don't mind, and maybe it turned out better that way, because I was a little less formal, a little less sticking to script, schedule, or anything. It was more improvisational, but also, like, I don't know. I mean, I stuck with a song list, but I don't know. It's just like I always imagine myself feeling differently in these situations, and afterwards it was just like I stayed for the next people's set, and they were really good. Their band name is Shooting Star Motel. You can look them up on Facebook and Instagram. I believe they're more active on Instagram, but they have been posting videos on Facebook. So if you want to watch them play, I will warn you, they are a great sounding band, but I think their recording equipment needs a bit of work. Either that or Facebook has been messing up the audio, because they don't sound the same on their Facebook recordings as they do live. They sounded really solid live, but on the recording, I don't know. Something on the sound was off, and it could just mean that it could have just been echoey. You know, all of them together in a small room, maybe not a lot of sound dampening. You know, not everybody is a rich YouTuber like me, and can afford to put foam panels on their walls. But yeah, I'm just saying, you can check them out. They're great, and I think I see a great future in store for you. The other guy, Zeiss, was more of a I don't think it was improv rap, but it was in a similar fashion. But he seemed like he really worked hard producing his tracks. He was a rapper kind of guy, and he seemed good. I was able to listen to him during he did like a sound check, and he ran through a couple of the songs, and they sounded good. Zeiss is spelled Zeis. If anybody wants to look him up on Facebook or Instagram, you can check him out as well. But I didn't end up staying for his set because, well, Jan and the baby were with me, and I never like, stick around for too long when there's loud music going along, because I don't want Silas to end up with like me and have hearing problems in one ear. It's not even that bad for me. It's just concerning when you put in one earbud in one ear and then the other, and you're like, oh, I need the volume quieter for my left ear. That's not a good sign. But yeah, it was just I don't know. Cause I wanted to stick around and talk with the band and see, like, hey, ask like, hey, have you been having trouble finding shows? What's your, I don't know, just musician talk. I don't get to talk with musicians hardly ever, and so I was really hoping to get an opportunity here. But the problem is, I do find the show because I know what's expected of me. But afterwards, the idea of, I guess because it was just overwhelming already, then my anxiety went up. Then I got stressed out, and it was just like, I gotta go home and have a panic attack. So that was difficult to deal with, and now there's this empty void of like, well, what the heck do I do now? What do I do? What do I do now? I freaking did a show live, but I was hoping that in these weeks before the show, when I was motivated, I'd be able to book some more shows. But unfortunately, I hadn't had much luck. I'm hoping if I get some videos out that kind of show, hey, I can play music, I can play live. Maybe I can get some solo piano gigs going on. But speaking of playing live, I've been thinking about it. I wish there was a way that I could play with a real piano, and I know that would be insanely complicated and not conducive to the one-man setup that I've got right now. But it would be fabulous to be able to have a real piano, because there's just a different sound. Not only is it more full, it's just a different kind of instrument, because you can use like advanced piano techniques, use it as a percussion instrument. I feel like having a live full piano would sound a lot better playing solo. Whereas like keyboard works fine, but it's a lot better if you have a full band, or at least a little bit more to your band than just you. But anywho, who knows? Maybe I'll buy a baby grand and just lug it into shows. It's like, can I get somebody to help me? Hey, you hand me that piano. So yeah, that was the live show. Fun times indeed. Other high of the week. This is kind of a melancholy one, but like, I've been feeling sentimental recently, and it's weird, but I am very grateful for things like Instagram, because in the moment I just think, oh, I'm gonna post this cute photos and get likes. And then I, don't get as much likes as I want. And I'm just like, oh, I'm sad. But then here I am years later, after at least it's been like 5, maybe even 6 years of posting on Instagram. Not super regularly. That would be cool. But now I'm able to like scroll back through photos that I don't really have access to anymore, because they were on my old phone and they're on the computer, and so I don't know exactly where they are. Because I did save them. I wasn't super dumb. But like in the moment, you think like, oh, I don't need these photos. I'll just, don't worry about them. But then here, years down the line, like I am here, it's you're kind of able to look back and be like, oh, I remember this. Oh, I remember this moment that I finished this video over on Homeschooled Nerd. And it's weird to look back at different times of my life, because there are ways that I felt at different points. And that's what I love about music. Like, there are albums that I can put on. It's just like, oh, I remember, like Jordan Taylor's album, Long Drive. I remember listening to that on the way to get to see Jana when she was in college. It was like a 2.5 hour drive, which now is nothing to me. Back then it was a long thing. And either after dropping her off at college, because sometimes I gave her rides back to visit family, because I'm a nice guy / wanted to see her, because I was a horny bastard. But yeah, I remember listening to that album and Sky Hill. It's just like, now listening to those albums brings you back to that point. And I don't know. It would be cool to make an album like that. That's my goal, is to create an album someday that is a soundtrack to parts of people's lives. And then people be like, oh, I remember listening to your song during this point in my life, or I remember using this song of yours for our first dance at our wedding. I know at this point that's a bit narcissistic of me to like imagine that, but it really is the reason why you create music. Anyway, yeah, that's one sort of high. I guess it's a high. Third high of the week. Our pup, our stallion of a pup, Rosie. had her puppies finally. I don't think I mentioned it on the podcast, but yes, she had puppies. We got her bred, and she had some tiny little balls of pup. And she's did okay, which we were nervous about because of course Jana looked up on Google, and Google was just like, boxes, they can have complications in labor. It's happened. It's like, yeah, of course it's happened. But then now you're worried about it, and so you're like trying to keep an eye on her at all times of the day, and like, is she still okay? Is she going into labor? Are we gonna need to call the vet? But no, she did fine. She had 7 pups. We're thinking she might have another. She only had them a little bit ago. I just got off work here recently, and now I'm recording the podcast. So yeah, that's recent news for me. But I figured it deserved to be on the list of highs, and I am sure that there will be pictures of them on Instagram as they develop. Yeah. So hopefully we don't have too much trouble getting rid of them, but also hopefully we can find good homes for them, because Rosie's a good dog. I know they'll be good pups. So hopefully we can find people that will take care of them. No, hopefully not too many irresponsible kids being like, "Give me a dog." Okay, now it's not a puppy anymore. I don't want it. Ticks me off, boy. Ticks me off. All right. That's it for highs and lows. The favorite segment of the show. Yay! So, anywho, yeah. What else is happening this week? I mean, of course, freaking, what was it? Oh, yeah. Duh. 4th of July is happening. Whoa. Or as I like to call it, National... what's the term I used? Gosh dang it. This is why I can't do comedy, guys. This is why I can't do comedy. I get in the moment, and then I forget words. It's just like, how are you supposed to be funny when you can't remember the bit you were going to say? National Treason Day. Yeah. The day that we decided we didn't want a king anymore. We're going to be an independent nation, and gosh dang it, we're going to be a democracy. But only so far as this document goes. Can't change anything on the document. So, democracy as long as it doesn't go against the document. But the document can be changed. But we don't like it when we change it. We say things like, "You can't change that. That was the holy inspired word of George Washington." Yeah, but I like the fact, I don't know, did I mention this on the podcast? I may have, but like, I like the fact that Benjamin Franklin was gonna be the one writing the Constitution because he was the most qualified one, but they were afraid he was gonna put a joke in it. And they knew that, the whole world was going to be examining this document and being like, "What's going on with these here Americans? What's this, a joke? We can't take people seriously who have a sense of humor." I think Benjamin Franklin is my favorite character from that era of American history. Because, like, from the quotes I've read and the things I've read about him, obviously you don't know for sure about a lot of this stuff. I mean, we know for certain that it's a fake story, him flying the kite in the rain. I mean, at least pretty sure. We can never be certain about anything. This was 300 years ago, even that short a time, because that's not that long ago in the grand scheme of things. But gosh, freaking dang it, does it feel like a long time when we're trying to get the facts straight. Because we have all these goofy tales that were just like, did that really? One that like I always bugged me, even back before I questioned everything. I mean, I've always questioned everything. That's the problem. But one that always bugged me was just like this story of like, it was told in like, homeschool history. So grain of salt, everybody, grain of salt. But it was just like when they were trying to figure out how to write the Constitution, they couldn't agree on anything. The homeschool books kind of glossed over that the things they were arguing about was part of it was, are all men really created equally? What about the slaves? And that supposedly Benjamin Franklin was just like, had the quote, God governs in the affairs of men, so let's pray before every meeting. Which does not seem like him at all. From what I've read, like, he's very skeptical and disinterested in most religions. And, just religion in general. It wasn't really his cup of tea. He seemed more like a free thinker to me, which I like to believe that. I don't know if it's true. We can't talk to him, unfortunately, but we know at least for a fact that he wasn't real interested in Christianity, especially Christianity of the time. But it just seems out of place for him to say that. But hey, if it did, maybe he was just like, hey, let's pray and get you guys, thinking about God, and then you'll be like somber and like, amen, brother. We will count the Negroes as 3/5 of a person. Genius. Compromise. See, the problem was the southern states wanted slaves and the northern didn't, because they didn't need them. But then the southerns were just like, well, we have less people than you. You got to count the slaves. And like, yeah, but they're not free. It's like, well, then you'll have more electoral college votes and you can outlaw slavery. We don't want that. We want more power. So they were like, all right, we'll count them for 3/5 of a person. Compromise. Why 3/5 anyway? That was it, right? 3/5 of a person. You counted 3 out of 5. That is so freaking dumb. That is so dumb. Oh my gosh. American history is a puddle of just confusion. Because, like, if you can wade through American history and figure out for sure what happened at all points, it's just like 9/11. It's just like, I'm pretty sure Bush didn't cause 9/11. Like, doesn't seem any evidence of that. But I really feel like he took plenty of advantage over the fact that now he could send troops over to Iraq. That was where it was, right? Iraq. I'm not gonna look it up. I don't have the energy. But yeah, it's just like taking the college course, because I did like a little online college. I was gonna try to like earn a degree in engineering, but after the third course, I was just like, I can do this, but it is taking a lot of my time away, and I would much rather be doing music. But the first two classes I took were American History 1 and 2, and there was so much I was just like, oh my gosh, this was conveniently glossed over during my in my homeschool curriculum. So yeah, if you're like me and you grew up homeschooled, you don't have to go to college or take a college class, though I would definitely recommend it. Maybe find a community college, but at the very least, get like a thorough textbook and take the time, look up the extra stuff. Because that was like what really did it for me, was just like being able to look up. Oh, let me see what this quote, the full quote from frickin' Abraham Lincoln was on his thoughts about the rights of colored people in America after they were freed. Because it's just like, yeah. Thanks for getting rid of slavery. I appreciate ya. God love ya, man. But to pretend that he was like somehow believed that, oh, they're just the same as us, we need to all be brothers. It's like, no. He was still racist. Everyone was racist. Everyone is terrible. I mean, they were always the radicals. It's like those crazy leftists. They think that the Negroes are people. This is crazy talk. Oh my gosh. All right. What other life updates? I feel like this is going to be a shorter one because I am low on energy. My brain's dead weight. I'm trying to get my head straight, but I can't decide which Spice Girl I want to impregnate. Yeah, other new stuff. I'm I'm trying to work on singles, guys. I've got one that I've been mixing. I just basically took the tracks that I recorded on Audition, which is Adobe's. That's Adobe's kind of audio program, and I've used it before. But then, as I mentioned before, I switched to Studio One, which is a fabulous program. I think it's actually better than Pro Tools. I'm gonna be honest. I've used Pro Tools a bit. I think it's better. I think it's better with Studio One. Studio One's pretty. It looks nice. It works great. It has multi-functions. You can use it for live music, but also for recording. And it works great for mixing. I've really enjoyed using it to fix up these tracks. And so I'm going to try to get the first single out end of July, basically. Last Friday, July is my goal. Maybe that's too close. Maybe I'm cutting it too close. I don't know. But, yeah. I'm gonna try getting them done. I'm getting it, doing like an online mastering thing, because I don't, right now I'm just like, let me just get it basically mastered. I don't need it perfect, because as long as it sounds good, then I can release it as a single. It doesn't need to be perfect. As long as I'm releasing something, I'm tired of sitting on my butt and not doing anything, because I know I want it to be perfect. I want everything to be perfect. But I'm thinking, like, if I just get something out, I can experiment with promoting it, and as long as I'm decently proud of it, then it'll be good. But of course, after working for a song for so long, you constantly think, oh, this is terrible. It's not good enough. It's not good enough for the internet. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting time. I hope it works out okay. I think it will. I gotta work hard on it on the weekends that I have, and Lord willing, we'll have some new Vinnie Hearted music out by the end of the year. I'm actually planning on trying to release at least three singles. I'm thinking of doing 2 singles and an EP. Maybe that's too ambitious, but at this point, I'm just like, you know what? I gotta get something out, and then then once I have that done, then I'm like, well, then I'll have more practice in. If I improve this much between when I released the last EP and these singles that I'm doing, I know how much I've improved now. So it's just like, well, then I just release some singles, maybe another EP, and then maybe I'll be ready to release a full album and do a physical release, and really start pushing the music out there. But yeah, that's just me. That's just my thought. Let's freaking riff on some headlines. Why don't we? I haven't checked the news all week, so I have nothing. But let me just open a new tab here and see what news pops up. All right. Avatar: The Last Airbender co-creator says there's so much you would fix about the series. Which part? Creators also wait on the Great Divide episode. What are they talking about? Its creators can still find a few things to nitpick. Well, of course they can. Who voiced talk about the belief many fans. Okay, he talked about the belief many fans have that they created the perfect show. You did. It's great. That blows me away. There's so much that I would fix. There's a bunch of stuff that I just think, ugh, I wish that scene was animated better. I don't like the way this character is looking in this episode. You can only fix so much. Well, of course you can. I hate these articles that take something minor that somebody says in the entertainment industry, and it's just like, let's run with that. Let's create this just like this one. The Coen brothers named their 10 favorite films of all times. I don't care. They probably don't want that many people. They probably don't care that much. What did they do? They did okay, their filmography. They did Fargo. I don't see anything. Burned Out for Reading. Yeah. Celebrity news. It's interesting because they're always looking for little tidbits that they can make into full articles, and it's just like, if there's nothing to write about, don't. Now, here's what I need: how to make almost any digital piano sound like the real thing. As you can see, I get quite a I get quite a variation of what shows up in my news feed. Joe Rogan, a cancel culture critic, called out Carlos Mencia for canceling him. Didn't he try to cancel Carlos Mencia for like stealing jokes? Or is that okay? It's okay to cancel somebody when they've done something, as long as you agree with it. Far Cry may go in a radically different direction after Far Cry 6. Interesting. I don't know how I feel about that, because Far Cry 3 is a great game that I've been playing, and I want to stream it. Maybe I'll do a stream this weekend. Maybe I could talk Jan and like let me do a stream, a longer stream. That's not interesting. Let's see here. Buncher Bulldog. Rapid City Municipal Band to play patriotic tunes ahead of the fireworks. So you heard it here first, folks. If you're going to see Rapid City fireworks, arrive late. Out with the old Rushmore Plaza Civic Center is now the monument. Yay! Yeah, the Civic Center's been doing a big update here in town. There was a big, I remember church, they were talking like, oh, we're really excited for this freaking racist, this old racist white guy, pastor, to be the first person to speak in this new plaza, Civic Center, monument, arena that they built. And it's just like, great. Maybe I should just rent it out beforehand. It's like, I'm going to show a major loss. I just want to keep, what is Franklin Graham, I think it is, from being the first person to speak in a new arena. Some new VR games. Are they like good ones? Chess and VR, that actually looks cool. Tarzan VR, Madrid Noir. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a VR movie. It's interesting though. VR movies are weird. Sam and Max are making a virtual reality game. That's cool. Gosh, I need to get some kind of an Oculus or a PS5 VR thing, but I'm always worried like it won't work right. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting looking VR games that are coming out. I really want to get a VR kit, but also I want to get a Nintendo Switch because there's a new Metroid game coming out. I'm excited about that. Let's see here. Ghost of Tsushima is apparently getting director's cut on the PS5, August 20th. That's interesting. I really like that game, but I just did not have the time to finish it at all. Boopy-doopy-doopy, a bunch of entertainment stuff. Oh my gosh. Elton John ticket prices for Syracuse concert soar as high as $13,000. My gosh, he's in demand. Let's check out Google News. Google News! Check out some of these real headlines. The 7-year-old daughter of Miami firefighters among the Surfside, Florida building collapse victims. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't have any jokes on that, guys. That's just a bad deal, especially since engineers warned about it several years ago. Like, hey, these freaking buildings could collapse. But of course, people do nothing because they're like, it looks fine. It's fine. So what happens when you get people that think that their own common sense is more important than, people who have spent their life studying this shit. All right. Okay, some bullshit. We're not going to read any Trump news because we don't care. I am once again asking you to please ignore Mr. Trump. Because it's good for your mental health. Well, we can worry about him plenty when he runs again in 2024. Let's see here. All the major games only coming out on next-gen consoles. Yeah, that's cool. My gosh. It doesn't take long to take long to get into the entertainment territory. And now it's giving me cocktail recipes. Is there any good news? Can I what if I it should ask me to like see more like specific kinds of news, because I want the news that you guys are interesting. Yeah, it's I got nothing else on the news, guys. Just bad news. Bad news. Bad news in the news. Okay. I like these articles where just Joe Rogan is too big to cancel. It's like, yeah, his whole persona is saying things that upset people. You really think you're gonna be able to do anything to his career? You can't do anything to hardly anyone's career with this whole cancel thing. All this cancel culture is a couple people on Twitter being like, I don't like this, and then freaking news articles are just like, fans on Twitter cancel. It's like, nope, it's not fans, and it's only a few people on Twitter. You are making a big deal out of nothing. It doesn't matter. Nothing really matters. Anyone can see. Cancel coaches doesn't do shit. Yeah, I mean, just like Bill Burr. There was like this whole thing. Bill Burr's getting canceled. Oh no, because he made a joke about Caitlyn Jenner. No, you can't joke about Caitlyn Jenner. She only ran over some dudes in her car. It pisses me off. It pisses me off now that she's like running for governor. That now all these supposed lefties are just like, I'm gonna start misgendering her because I can. Because that's definitely the the best choice for us as our image. It's just like, no, stop it, stop pretending to be an ally if you're gonna just look for the next opportune moment to be a bigot. If you're gonna be a bigot, be a bigot, and I can disassociate with you. That's what I wish these bakeries would do. Like here recently, there's been a case where this baker, he would obviously refuse to do gay wedding cakes because, and that was like a specific thing. It was like, I still serve gay customers, and so this trans lady was like, let me test this, and so she went in and said, okay, this red and blue cake that it was like a cake that they made. It wasn't like a custom order. She was like, could you make this cake? And yeah, it's for my birthday, but also it's like the 7-year anniversary of me coming out as trans. And so if you later on, it wasn't even there. They were just like called her and it's like, okay, so we can't make the cake because you're trans, and Jesus doesn't like that. So it's like, okay, that's just obvious discrimination. And like there's this whole gray area where it's just like, well, should a business be allowed to say we won't serve you? It's not like they're going to specific lengths in this case. It's just like, we won't make this cake that's in our repertoire of cakes that we make because we don't like you. We don't agree with you. We don't agree with your lifestyle, as they would say. And it's just like, I don't know. Maybe gay could just like put up a sign, we don't serve gay or trans people here. We are not pride friendly. And then then you don't have to have all these oh no, all these LGBTQ people don't have to waste their time going into this business and asking for a cake only to get rejected. And I know where not to go. It's about like in Washington. There was this, lady that did taxes, and she put up a notice that was just like, I will not do taxes for gay couples that filing jointly because it's bad. I will only do them separately, essentially. And it's just like, well, I don't agree with you or like you, but at least you're saying it out loud, so then I know not to support you and to take my business elsewhere. Because otherwise, I would go in there and she'd like, oh, sure, I'll help you with your taxes because you're straight. And I would have no idea that she was a bigot to other people. But this way, I can be like, oh, you're a bigot. I'm not going to you. I'm not going here. Because you would only find out if they're going in and being like, hey, I need to file taxes with me and my husband, and they would be like, oh, we can't do that, and then I had to have like this embarrassing moment of like, oh, well, this is awkward. I guess I'll leave. You know what I mean? Just make that a thing where it's just like, hey, be out if you're gonna be out and proud about being against people who are out and proud. Put up a sign. Put up your own flag. Put up your Blue Lives Matter flag, and we'll know never to go with you ever again. We support our law enforcement as long as they're not taking our guns. That's different. We believe they should have the right to kill other people, not me. I have a gun, and I will use it. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay, let's get into recommendations, because your boy Vinny needs to get this podcast up, and I'm taking Jenna out to dinner. I'm going to get a few beers. I'm going to get some beers. It's just going to be a fun time. Gosh, I hope their kitchen is running and everything. I hope that we can get food this time, because last time we went, they did not. But anywho, recommendations. Maybe I should play a little ditty for you. Here we go. We're gonna live composing. Vinny's like, I'm in a hurry. I gotta go. Let me compose a song live for the recommendations. All right. Let's try D. Okay, nope, not D. Recommendation. And you don't know what to watch. You're gonna need a recommendation. There you go. That's the song. Alright, recommendations for this week. I watched the first episode of Loki on Disney Plus, and honestly, guys, it got me in a bit of an existential, not crisis, but like stupor. I was just like, what if the choices I'm making aren't real? What if I am only on one set path? And, it's very interesting. I love that idea of a concept for how they control the, multiple timeline dilemma, where it's just like, hey, let's create a group that specifically keeps other timelines from happening, so there's no multiverse. It's like, that's interesting. That is very interesting. One would question if the Avengers did not create a separate timeline when they went back in time, but apparently that's not a thing. Anyway, I'm not going to question it too much, because it's just a fun show, and I love... Who plays Loki? I know his name. Tom something? Tom Hiddleston? Let's look it up. Tom Hiddleston. Is that him? Yeah, what a sexy man. What a sexy man. So I really enjoyed the first episode. Haven't gotten a chance to watch any more of it yet. But there are new episodes coming out every Wednesday. So if you're like stuff like me, check that out. Speaking of which, I started watching Invincible on Amazon Prime. I'm sure everyone's seen the memes. Think, Mark, think. Vinny, you think no one else has seen the show already? Think, Vinny, think. It's just a really great show. The first episode is a really interesting ride, but honestly, it was just like that sudden twist at the end was so perfectly coordinated. Like, I know the comics, they take longer to get to that point, and I think that's genius in a way, but also like the way this show is constructed, it works really well to be like, really a pretty clean, pretty friendly show. Just a few F words, a bit more blood than you expect until the very end. And then all of a sudden, then you get the shock. Then you get the shock of like, oh, this show is going to be dark. And I don't know. It's been a while since I watched a show like that. But I have been enjoying it. So that's another show that I'm trying to get through. And hopefully I will. Although the way it usually goes for me, I'll lose interests here soon. Anyway. Third recommendation of the week is an album, not music album recommendation. Billy Joel's album, 52nd Street, is a great album. Check it out. Listen to the whole album because it's a good one. Favorite song off of it is, I don't know. It's the song that people would know from it at the very least. My Life is on there. It's a decent song. Not his best, but it's good. Big Shot's on there. Honesty's on there, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, check that album out. I think it's one of his best. If you haven't listened to the whole album, you should do so. Freaking get Spotify. It's not that expensive, and you can listen to full albums. And stop just listening to hits on the radio or on Pandora. What are you doing with your life? All right. Anyway, I know I'm about 10 minutes early. But actually more like 15. Yeah, but anyway, I'm about 15 minutes early on the podcast. But I'm going to call it quits because I'm a tired boy and I want to go get food. So I'm going to just end this here. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy your 4th of July. Go eat some barbecue, you dirty, dirty animals. And I will talk at you next Friday. If you have any questions, concerns for the podcast, you can leave them over at contact@vinniehunter.com or leave them on a comment on the YouTube channel. I will read them all here because I read everything because that's just how I do. All right. That's it. As always, I love you guys, love yourselves, and I'll see you next Friday with another episode. Bye!